Okay, so finally the new car has arrived. So been dailying this car for a couple of weeks now. It is really nice to drive as a daily. So Subaru's parked up in the garage. It's pretty much going to stay there. We're going to keep the miles down nice and low on that car. But a bit of a backstory, had that car for 5 or so years, and that has been the daily driver. There's only been one sort of car in the house, and we've been using it to drive to work, weekend trips, etc. So finally now to have a second car parked in the garage basically means now that free to do work on the Subaru, free to do whatever we like, that we're not relied on that car just to get us around. So we've been kind of searching for this car for 6 or so months, and it's a bit of a unicorn because there were a couple of specs with different models that we really wanted, and so to find all those things in one vehicle is actually really quite rare. We haven't got everything that we're after, like it's not New Zealand new, it has come from Japan, so it is a bit of an import, but other than that, this is a really nice example of this type of car. So hey Glenny boy, let's drop it to the montage. So this is a 2014 Audi SQ5. Now it came with just a touch under 50,000 kilometers. It was imported from Japan, so it's not a brand new, well, it's not New Zealand new, but if we come around to the engine bay here, this is the, it's the SQ5 model, so that means that it comes with a 3-litre V6 supercharged engine. So I don't know too much about this engine, but I do know that it's got 354 horsepower with 347 pounds of torque associated with it. So basically this is just a classic new vehicle, or newish vehicle engine bay in here. And that's basically all I know. So I guess off the bat there, there's no experience that either of us have had with Audi engines, and I suppose as we experience this car in our ownership, I'm sure we'll start to learn a few things as things go on, and we'll be able to know what goes well with this car and also all the problems associated with it. Kind of like building up a little bit of knowledge like we already are sort of getting with having Subarus.
And I think one of the unknown things that you've got so far is the servicing cost, right?
I have no idea.
No idea what it's going to run. But you do have a mechanical warranty with this as well, so it's not something that we can probably do a lot of work on. Yeah, so we paid that extra for a couple of years because, you're right, the unknown. Roughly for a Subaru to take it to the dealership, you're looking between sort of 400 to 600 NZ dollars, depending on fluids and oil and stuff. So I'm guessing that this is going to be a little bit more to service it. Yeah, I'll probably guess you're going to be somewhere in that $600 to $800 range for a standard service, but time will tell, right?
Time will tell, and then we'll be able to share that experience as we move on. So what kind of comes standard on these models is all the sort of chrome trim around the window. So it's around here. We do have silver wing mirrors here. We've got sort of a chrome finish on these what is called roof rack
kind of thing.
Roof rails, and then around the door handles and stuff. So initially I had thought, well, what I would like is that these are the Audi wheels. These are in really good nick, so there's no scratches pretty much on all of these. What I was going to do is change them to a black rim. Now when I thought about it, actually if I change those, I kind of have to change these, and then I kind of have to change the trim, and then I kind of have to change the roof rails, and so that's going to get rather expensive. So what we've done is we've decided that we're just going to keep it as it is. We're going to keep these wheels. We did have another car in mind that sort of had a different set of wheels, but we like these ones the best, so this is the complete package. So this look is pretty much going to stay the same. Now these wheels here are 21 inch. They're sitting on a brand new pair of tyres, roughly. I actually don't know the brand of these tyres. They'll be nothing flash. They are an all season, but they're 255 40 21s on here. So I actually really like these rims. What do you think? Quite nice?
Yeah, I think that they look a lot better than the stock black ones you were looking at. I think it ties into the era of the vehicle as well. You've got to remember this is a 2014, right? So it's not probably quite at that area where everything started getting blacked out. I think those are really classy looking wheels.
And this comes with the black calipers as well.
Yeah,
so if you did choose to have the blacked out version, you end up with the black wheels and you end up with red calipers. So these have got the SQ5 on there. I do like the look of the red calipers, but this ties in with this whole complete sort of, this is the OEM package here.
For an 8-year-old car, the state of the wheels is pretty fantastic, right?
These are dirty.
They are dirty, yeah, but look at the state of the rim. They're in good.
I think there's only one little nick on the driver's side on the rims, but otherwise all really nice.
Got no excuse in this car, right? Though, because there is there's a camera up in the mirror housing which helps you park.
I think so. That sort of takes all the guesswork out of it. So the one thing we really like about this car is we've come from a hatchback, quite small type car before. This car has definitely got a lot more room in here. So this boot is huge compared to what we've been used to. Electronic gate. These are all new. These are all new car things, or newish car things, right?
Welcome to the future, or current state.
Current state. So
you got a pretty decent sized boot in there. Seats all fold down flat.
They all fold, and actually the seats at the back, you can actually push them forward slightly so that you have slightly about that much more boot space. So that's, I guess, a nice little thing that you can add on there. In the back here, I'm definitely going to get one of those rubber mats that protect all of this, because I think that's super handy. It does have hooks and things like that where you can put a cargo net on the bottom here, but I think once we put a rubber mat in here, that cargo net will probably not be much use.
And like a lot of modern day cars, you don't have a spare tyre in here either, do you? You've got a little treat under the bottom there.
This car does come with the ability of having a spare tyre. So here, this is a sub underneath here. So the sub, and what happens is with these cars is that they have a spare tyre, it's like a run flat. And so the spare tyre sits around here, and in the back or on the side here comes with a compressor. You basically unbolt that, take your spare tyre out, pump it up and put it on. This car didn't come with one, unfortunately, but we do have that sort of emergency kit where you can inject a bit of slime stuff in there and pump it up.
And this is quite nice too here. I see one of our most popular videos on the channel was a cargo net installed on the STI, but look at that, it's a bit of a different cargo net under the actual, what do you call that, the cargo hatch? The cover?
Well, it's just a little boot cover, I suppose, and that just stops people looking in to see what kind of stuff you got in your boot.
That's quite nice. And then what have you got in that? What have you got in that corner compartment there?
Well, the corner compartment. So there's just a couple of reusable bags of the supermarket when you forget those. You go to the supermarket and you forgot it. But this here is really cool. Now this is a little secret to you. This comes in an Audi packet.
I did ask what that was when you
I said no, I want to keep it secret. Yeah. I actually really like this, and I don't know how much this is worth or what it adds to the car, but the fact that it came with this really does excite me. Now if I open this, wow.
Looks like a drink bottle.
Yeah, you want to have a sip?
Yeah, probably not.
So because this car is Jap import, everything in here is in Japanese. So like the manual and stuff is all Japanese, but I'm going to try and correct that. This is a bottle of engine oil.
Okay.
This is an original bottle of engine oil. It's actually quite funny because it's made by Castrol, but sort of specific for Audi.
I wonder what the age on that is. Have you got a...
So it's 5W30,
yeah,
which is obviously what they recommend. Made in Japan, all in Japanese, so I can't really read that. But...
it's got a date on there?
It's got 10.32.
Doesn't really tell us much, does it?
Doesn't say. But I would say that would be like a spec that when you got the car, you know how you can add on accessories?
Yeah.
They would have said, oh yeah, let's have a, or this might have come factory with it. I have no idea. But the fact that that has come with the car from Japan, like that.
It's travelled a long way. You'd think that would be something that they would have got rid of, right? Because you wouldn't want to be using that oil now.
Yeah. There probably is a date on here. There probably is an expiry date on here, but I wouldn't know where to look. But just that, I think that's super neat. Alright, so coming into the interior here. This interior, the leather of these seats is really nice. So this is a couple of years old, this car. These seats are perfect. The dash, it looks pretty nice, but here you can see there was a little bit of an issue here. They put like a little sucky cup thing on there to put like a nav man or something on there, and as they've sucked that up, it sort of pulled up the inside and left a little bit of a ring. But that's kind of like the only mark in here. It does have your nice tech features and things like that, and your park assist and the camera that we showed, just like the classic features that modern cars have. But the fact to find these seats in such good condition is actually quite a rare find. I like the boot, the roof liner as well. That's black. So in normal cars, what you get is you kind of get a roof liner that's grey. Shows marks and stuff, but that's a really nice feature.
It makes it feel a whole lot more luxurious, I think, especially because you're missing a sunroof on this model. I think the black headliner just gives it that premium feel, and the other premium piece in here, which is actually quite rare to find in New Zealand, at least on these vehicles, would be this trim, right?
It's carbon fibre. Well, I don't know if it's real carbon fibre, but it's made to look like carbon fibre.
Well, it looks a lot better than the alternate, which is that white.
Yeah, it's almost plastic. Like a silvery white, almost like the chrome finish around the outside. So it's along here. It's around here, it's up on there, it's also on these door panels here, on the inside here.
It's got a timeless look, right? Because carbon fibre mean, carbon fiber's been in for a long time.
And I think this is why this one looks slightly better, because it hasn't got that silver finish to it. So although this is not new features, but it's definitely new from the 2007 Subaru, is that we've got memory seats here, so 1 and 2. You can push your button and it will adjust the seat to suit you. We've got adaptive cruise control. The Subaru does have cruise control, but not adaptive. What else do we have? We've got steering wheel buttons that allow you to talk to people and all that kind of stuff. Navman. This sort of system in here where you can adjust the sort of mode that the car's in. So there's like the fuel efficient mode, there's comfort, you can go into dynamic, and that just changes how the car drives and feels. And instead of dropping it down a gear like you would in the manual way, you can just adjust that and off you go. The size of this engine and the way this car drives is definitely faster and quicker than the Subaru, I find. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's a different power delivery, right? This is the first supercharged car I've I've been in a supercharged car before, I've driven one, but it's been a long time. It's quite interesting to compare this back to back with the turbo and the electric as well. Yeah. Completely different power delivery. And I've actually been joking with Glenn about this car just around the fact that he's finally caught up to modern times, right? He's got things like reversing camera there. He's got blind spot monitoring in the mirrors.
Heated seats.
Bluetooth for your phone. You know, welcome. Because he's been driving around a car that's 15 years old, so it's an all new experience.
It's a nice feeling. But also, this is all pretty old tech, right? Okay, so a real common feature that sort of happens on import cars from Japan are these sort of rain guards or window guards. And what they do is they just basically allow you to have the window down slightly when it's raining and doesn't allow any rain to come in. I don't like these.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the look. They're coming off, aren't they?
Yeah, so these are Audi specific rain guards, but these are just stuck on with 3M tape. So I'm just going to pull them off. There'll be some tape residue behind them. We'll remove it with some Tarex and things like that. And these will be coming off when we get into our paint correction. So this car, the paint is actually in really good nick, right? For a 2014, it's been pretty well looked after. Someone did obviously back into something a little, you know, just a couple of little chips, and they touched it up with a little bit of paint. But all in all, it's pretty hard to find a dent on here too. I mean, if you got like a dent guy out and he really got the cool lights and had a really good look, you'll find dents, but just at the eye, there's actually not a lot wrong with it. So there are some pretty there is some swirling on the paint, let's say that. There is a few areas where there is a couple of deep scratches. I think this is going to be mainly a 1-step with areas of a 2-step.
Yeah, it's interesting though, we've never worked on Audi paint before, so that 1 versus 2-step will all depend on the hardness of the paint. And you've got white as well, super easy colour to disguise.
Well, this is a pure white with, like, it's got a little fleck in it.
That fleck helps as well. Yeah, it's going to be easy to disguise.
Exactly like your Subaru, right?
Yeah.
Yours had that fleck in it, and you're right, it does make it easier to kind of, not necessarily correct out, but to disguise those markings. Water spots, not too bad on here. Grime and stuff, just in and around these door handles and stuff. Yeah, got them. Just in around these, there's a little bit of grime and stuff, but I think this will correct out pretty nice, and we'll be able to make the paint look nice for a daily driver. So what's going to happen with this vehicle is we're going to get some tint. So our friend Seth at Tint Lab, he will tint this car. We'll go with that classic, what is it called? 3M ceramic IR, and that will give a nice blue sort of hue to the glass. Now, these cars do come with a factory tint on the back 2 windows and on the rear. We chose this one because, again, it doesn't have that factory tint on there, because I know Seth will be able to work his magic on here and it will make it all look the same, and it will make it look really nice. A couple of distant plans that may or may not happen is maybe an exhaust system on this car. AWE do make a touring exhaust for this. They also make a air intake, and a nice carbon fibre air intake, which will actually match really nicely with the carbon trim on the inside. But we'll see how we go. You know, you've got a car that really needs some good mods on it that we're really invested in, and these parts do become quite expensive, so we'll just see how we go. Alright, so that's the car, and if you're really interested in this content, please subscribe to the channel, because that will keep you up to date with the most recent content coming out. Thanks for watching.